wonderful internet peoples. I'm Kate, and thank you for clicking on this shiny new video and joining us on GrowinFaith, where Christians and the curious can learn and encourage each other in their walk. So here's a quick question for you. Do you consider yourself a beginner? I've been going to church most of my life. We're not going to discuss how long that's been, no. But regardless of how much I grow, I still want to have a beginner's mindset. Sounds a bit weird, right? I mean, who wants to stay in beginner mode? But here's a few reasons why I am, and maybe why you should consider it also. So let's just take a quick look at some of the benefits beginners' mindsets have. Beginners are actively engaged and genuinely interested in their faith, their relationships, and community. They are eager to seek out information and how to use it. They have an enthusiasm about engaging others and sharing their experiences of what they're learning. They're very inclusive of what they're learning with others. They also get to know God and their teachers on a personal and corporate level. So right off the bat, we can see that beginners are enthusiastic not just about absorbing and getting the information, but also with knowledge and experiences with others, but also in how it brings joy to their lives. They also learn discernment through inquiry. Essentially, they ask a lot of questions, and they also ask the right questions about things. This means beginners' mindsets are extremely vigilant about what they learn and who and what influences them and how it's being applied. This lets them learn to discern things more easily, like true versus false teaching, vice versus virtue, risk, benefits, wisdom, foolishness, holiness, sin, in situations, and thus allowing for true choice to be made and also for true freedom and goodness to occur. Beginners can also use failure as a means of motivating themselves to right or habits or behavior, whether from their own or maybe from experience from others. Beginners can quickly learn to avoid unnecessary heartache, headache, and just inconveniences in general when they acknowledge these failures. And this means they're much more easier to progress to maturity and growth. Altogether, this aspect allows them to focus themselves and essentially fix their moral compass in their pursuit of faith. So with this aspect, we can see that beginners are more likely to test and scrutinize not only their influences but also the information and themselves to better align and unify to a productivity in themselves, in their faith, that is because essentially they know they don't know and they want to know why they don't know. So this means they fully understand how things that they're learning affect them much better than a closed or even a fixed mindset. Beginners also maintain an openness with God and godly influence. This is usually done by open communication, whether it's in prayer or discussing things with a friend, or even just talking and listening with a group. With this aspect, beginners are able to build a good rapport and with others through common values and common ground, which means they can easily They can build up and learn from basic doctrine and teachings through scripture. A lot like using the basics from a video game tutorial throughout the game. This means that, so we see here that beginners are likely to reach out with sincere communication and consideration to others. This quality is essential to developing good faith and community. This openness helps encourage beginners to develop the skills they have learned and to also become comfortable expressing their convictions or expressing their values in a sense. And this establishes a conviction that can influence others and draw themselves closer to God. How do you engage God in prayer and approach others with your values? Lastly, beginners develop childlike faith. Now, this is a type of faith. This is not blind faith, so please don't confuse the two. But this childlike faith is a faith that is strong, it is lively, it's engaging, it's confident, and it's unafraid to probe at, wonder at, question, and think critically about things. Childlike faith is expressed with a simplicity that is completely effortless. It is because it's composed like poetry. It's creative, it's confident, and it's in such a personal manner that it's easy and it's effortless. This childlike faith is fearless to the world around them. Challenge and correction, anchoring them deeper in their faith with new and refined information or discipline. With this aspect, beginners can better engage and establish themselves and what's around them. So we can see that the qualities of a beginner's mindset allows faith to progress towards maturity without dulling or stagnating. Essentially, it keeps it from being boring. How many of these characteristics do you have in your walk of faith? Or just life in general? So I guess my last question to you is this. Are you ready to begin?